Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. How to manage virtual machines using VApp. What is VApp? A VMware VApp is a container for one or more pre-configured virtual machines or VApps. VApp offer better resource controls and management for the virtual machines that are inside VApp. Using VApp, we can manage multiple VMs or disparate VMs in a more simplified way by combining together in a single stack as an application. For example, multi-tiered application like web server, application server, and DB server can be combined together in a single VM. Similar, Similarly to a VM can be powered on, powered off, it can be suspended, or even cloned. In this particular lab, we will be discussing about step-by-step procedure of creating, powering on, and removing a VM. So let's get started. Now let's log into our vCenter server first. So click on VCSA. So this vcs-018.govmlab.local is my vCenter server. Click on allow to run flash because we are logged into our web client which require flash. Provide SSO credentials of our vCenter server. Administrator at the rate of vSphere.local is a username. Provide SSO password of our vCenter server. Now we are successfully logged into our vCenter server web client. Now, in left side navigator pane, if you could see, I have 3 VMs deployed: web VM, app VM, and DB VM. So this is my a 3-tier application VM which is deployed on ESXi-028.govmlab.local host. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a VApp, and I would be managing, instead rather than managing each of the VM individually, I would be managing these VMs using VApp. So let's create a VApp. Now how do you create a VApp? You can click on your ESXi host, right click on it. So right click on your ESXi host and you could see option new VApp. Since we are creating a new VApp, so click on new VApp, create a new VApp. Now second option, if you see, clone an existing VApp. So what it does, if you're already having an existing VApp, so it will create a clone of that VApp, which means what are the VMs which is being managed by that particular VApp will automatically be cloned as a part of clone an existing VApp. So create a new VApp, click on next, give a name of your VApp. So I would give a name, let's say 3-tier VApp. Define a folder or data center where you want to create this VApp. Click on next. Now here we define the allocation for CPU and memory for our VApp. So in this particular wizard, we define how much CPU and how much memory we want to allocate to our VApp. So since we are not discussing about the CPU and memory resource allocation, so let's go with the default one. Click on next, and now here we could review our VApp configuration details. So the name of our VApp is 3-tier_VApp. It is going to be created under GoVMlab-DCA. We have not configured in CPU and memory for our VApp. Click on finish. In the task pane, you could see the VApp has been created successfully. Now you could see the icon, which most of all look like a flower. So this is the icon of a VMware VApp. So as you could see, a VApp is a group of virtual machines that can be managed as a single object. Now, currently, there are no VMs in a VApp. So if you click on VApp, go to VMs, there are no VMs in VApp. So first thing, what we need to do once you create a VApp, you need to add VMs into that VApp. So you have to figure it out what all the VMs you want to be managed by this specific VApp. So in my case, let's say I have created a 3-tier VApp and I want all of my all these 3 VMs to be managed by VApp. So I'll go and add my VMs to VApp. And how do you do that? Select the VM and just drag and drop it to your VApp. So once you do that, you could see the VApp VM is under 3-tier VApp, what we have created. Again, click on app VM, just drag and drop it, and similarly do it for DBVM. So now as you could see, now all of my 3-tier application VMs are being managed by VApp. Now let's review few of the settings of our VApp. So right click on a VApp, click on edit settings, and now you could see we have a under deployment section we have a CPU resources. So where it determines, so if you click on CPU resources, it determines how CPU should be allocated for our VApp. CPU resources should be allocated for our VApp. If you click on memory resources, it defines how memory resources should be allocated for our VApp. IP allocation determines how IP addresses are allocated for our VApp. So we currently have a IPv4 and the addressing is static or manual. Now, we can also change the order in which virtual machines in a VApp will start up and shut down. So if you click on start order, here we could define the startup and shutdown order for our VMs. So if on the left side, if you see, we have a group created, group 1, group 2, group 3. And here we have a startup action like power on, and you could also define the delay. Startup sequence proceed when 120 seconds have elapsed. So basically, you can change. So basically, this particular section define in which order your VM should be startup and shut down. And you can change this order by always assigning virtual machines to a group. For example, if you see right now, the VM which will be started is a web VM because it's in group 1. And after 120 seconds have elapsed, then the group 2 will kick in and the app VM will be started. And after 120 seconds, the group 3 VM, which is a DBVM, will be started. So this is how you define a startup and shutdown order. Now shutdown will always happen in the reverse order. In this particular scenario, if you power on your VApp, the first VM which will be starting is web VM, following by app and then DB. But when you power off your VApp, the first VM which will be powered off is DB, then app, and then web VM. So shutdown will always happens in a reverse order. Now you could also change this ordering. Let's say I want to power on my DBVM first, then you just click on this up arrow and DBVM will be moved to group 1, and you can just select your web and it will go to group 3. So this, with the help of this arrow, you can define the start order for your VMs. Shutdown order, as I said, it always been the reverse order. So let's again go with the default one. So I want my web VM to be started first, and I want my DBVM to start last. Click on OK. So now, if you see right on the VApp, if I click on VApp, I have an option, similar option what we used to see for the VM, like power on, power off, suspend, shut down. The same options we are seeing it for our VApp as well. Similarly, we can do the clone of our VApp as well. Like as I said, because VMs are in powered on state, that's why this option is grayed out. Once you power off your VApp, this option should be visible. So now let's click on power off. So once you power off the VApp, what it does, it will go and power off each of your VM. So if you could see, it has first power off app, then it has power off the VMs in that reverse order, whatever order we have configured. Now the good part of VF, as you have seen, we don't need to go to click on each and every VM to power it off. If we don't manage these VMs through VApp, I have to trigger 3 power off operations to power off 3 VMs. But here, because of VApp, I just click 1 power off operation, which is subsequently power off all of the VMs, which is being managed by that VApp. Now, if you click on, you can create another new child VApp. So you can create a VApp under VApp also. Now, if you click on clone, that's where we have a clone option. So if you want to create a clone of your existing VApp, this is the option which will create a clone of your VApp. Now, if you want to delete this VApp, it's pretty straightforward. Click on your VApp and delete from disk. So what is going to do, if you click on delete from disk, deleting this VApp will remove all of its VMs and resource pools from the inventories. It will so if you delete this VApp, it is going to delete all of your VMs. So as you could see, it has deleted all of the VMs. So this concludes our lab for managing virtual machine using VApp, where we have discussed about how do we create a VApp, how do we add a virtual machines to our VApp, how do we change the startup order for our VMs, and we also discussed about cloning a VApp or exporting a VApp as an OVF template, and then we at last we discussed about removing a VTAP, removing a VApp, which subsequently go and delete all of the VMs which is being managed by that VApp. This concludes our lab. Thank you.